Hello, hello, hello. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Anyway, you are joining me. This is this post-mortem of Nigeria not qualifying for the World Cup. And I promise that I will go going over the main problems, what's where the problem is, and the solutions too. So, guys, like and share the video anyway you actually were joining. So, I don't want to waste too much time. I have my guests ready, so I will not be discussing this alone. I have my guest actually what ready. He's a seasoned journalist. He's someone I've been when I was younger. I used to look forward to seeing this man discuss with him. I remember my money then. I saved my money to buy complete sports. So, and when I have any difficult, complicated issue to discuss about Nigerian football, because now we're looking for solutions everywhere. I normally like to discuss certain people, guys know that I always like to talk to Abe George, Samsoje, but when it comes to journalism, I like to talk to my very good Oga, the Nigerian Football Encyclopedia, Mr. Kayode Ogundare. K Baba, thank you.
Thank, thank, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Ah,
K Baba, anytime I want to talk to you like this, I'm always happy. I don't know. It's like I won lottery because I like to learn from people that actually know more than me. I like to hear from you because the way you know, think, do your things is quite different from others. And I will say something, okay, Baba. I don't know if you are still practicing, but since we didn't see you in the limelight of covering Super Eagle, even if we are talking about say we no get player, we no get coach, we no get journalist stuff again. Since because the last time I really, I think what was the Russia 2018? That's when
yes,
you were actively involved in
I retired officially from covering the Super Eagles after the World Cup in 2018.
2018. So since
Officially, I
since you
retired.
stopped, since you stopped covering Super Eagles, I don't think I've seen anybody cover a Super Eagle but we'll go to that. We'll go to that. But let me just ask you. So, how are you doing? I know that it's been a very long time. So, how is everything? How are you
Yeah,
doing?
we thank God. We thank God. It's been God. We thank God
Yes,
for health. We thank
yes.
God for life. We thank God for everything. Despite everything, the country Nigeria is going through a very difficult moment now.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's not. It's only those who feel it know what it is at this time, and we cannot
Yes,
downplay what people are going through. But
yes,
football has always been a distraction for all of us from the
yes.
realities of our everyday life. But
Hmm.
now that football is being taken away from us gradually,
Hmm.
and that's what makes me very, very sad. That
Yes.
football that we always run to distract us from whatever is going on is being taken away from us. It's sad. It's
Is
sad.
is that but okay, Baba? Even before self, football is not really our main sport. It was not cricket. That-
Well, cricket was a colonial game,
yes,
and but football was actually the game that Nigerians adopted and loved. Because I
yes.
know for a fact that in the 70s up to the 80s and early 90s, there are some schools that still carried on the tradition, who still played cricket. I remember Government College, Ibadan, King's College, Lagos, and a few other schools like that, who were very good in cricket. I
Hmm.
had a friend who played for one of them and even played for Nigeria at that time. But the game of Nigerians, which is like, everybody regarded cricket as an elitist sport, that you had to go to government
Yes,
college in order to play cricket. But
yes,
football, you can play football even in your local community secondary school.
yes.
Everywhere there's a small space. There are two goal posts made with what the Hausas call gongoni,
Gungu.
agolo milk. So
Yes,
you are good to go. So for
yes.
me, I think football is our main sport post independence. Since
Yes.
Arsenal is present, it is
Yeah.
our game.
Yes. Okay, Baba. I know that you have experienced different outbreaks. When it
Yes.
comes to Super Eagles. But since since you stopped covering the national team in 2018, do you switch off from it? Is it the same emotion, or you just say, anything where they like?
Actually, to be honest with you, two reasons why it's difficult to switch off is if you say, "Oh, I used to be a football fan, now I don't care again." I don't know. You were never a football fan. If you were
Mm-hmm.
a football fan, no matter how much you are hot, you still go back again. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
during the course of the game, I was like, "Oh, the way they played, I don't like this. I'm not going to watch again." It's a lie. You still keep watching, and then when you go to penalties, even though I know that once the game goes to penalties, for me, it's the lottery. It could be
Yes.
anybody's game. It doesn't matter what you played in the previous 90 minutes plus regular plus added time. The penalty is a different ball game on its own. But yet, I couldn't. Okay, maybe the pain hits differently now. Because like I
Mm-hmm.
was telling somebody today, just today, I said I have a cousin. Of course, he's grown up now. He's a family man now. In the early days, when there's a game, especially when the Super Eagles is playing, he will be too excited to eat. He
Mm-hmm.
doesn't eat on match days because he's either too happy to eat or too sad.
Mm-mm.
But now those emotions are no longer the way they used to be for him. But for me, the pain is, and my pain is different. I'm talking
Mm.
from a professional standpoint. My pain is
Yeah.
maybe he was a fan. Me, I'm talking from a professional standpoint. Like every time we fail to qualify for all these major tournaments like this, our football is taking back like 4 5 years into
Mm-hmm.
the
Yes.
dynamic again. Then we have to start all over again, and then we get here. And it's sad that Victor Osimhen, one of the greatest Nigerian strikers of all time, may
Mm-hmm.
not play in the World Cup.
Yes. And we'll go to Osimhen's matter, but let me just try and like dig slightly back.
Okay.
I know that talking about outbreak, a lot of people felt, in fact, I spoke to a lot of people and I even listening here and I said that I can't even sleep. I said that they can't even sleep. In fact, the game happened on Sunday. People are still recovering from that shock because I think it's going to even hit hard when the World Cup actually was starts. AFCON might be a distraction, but during the World Cup, that's when we knew that we didn't qualify. But after the World Cup, at least the open go. Say we're now preparing for the next World Cup again.
Mhm.
But, I know that you have been. This is not the first time you have been covering Nigerian sport. But let me just ask
No.
you have qualified for the World Cup for Nigeria. It wasn't a bad right initially. It was hard for us to qualify. And but now we are spoiled because of the 94 generations. Qualifying and just qualifying anyhow. I want to just ask you, when was like the first time that you experienced World Cup non-qualification for Nigeria? When was the first time?
The outbreak. I would say um I would say 85 going to the 86 World Cup,
Mm-hmm.
because the 81 going to 82 World Cup, I would say I'm still like not mature in the game. I was
Yes.
a very young guy, a very young boy at that time. But when I felt the pain was, I remember the game. I think it was a game against Tunisia. I stayed and watched the game, and when, even though we had been eliminated, I could not leave the same spot. I
Uh-uh.
thought I took it hard. That was, I remember this was in 1985. I took it very, very hard. It hit me that this is that I felt the pain, the raw pain of not going to the World Cup, because all of us were pumped up. Oh, we're going to qualify. We're going to do this. We thought we had a good team at that time.
But we
But
didn't go to the
because
86
of the
AFCON now.
familiarity of the players, because we knew them, most of them in the local league and all of that. But because we did not qualify, I felt that pain. But the one that I hit the most, because we were just a point away from qualifying, will be the 1989 going to the 19 World Cup.
Yes, 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 yes. And I think that was my first probably outbreak too. because I think we had to go to Yaoundé to go and play against
Yes.
Cameroon, and I think we got a red card in that game. Sunday Eboibe got
Yes.
a red card in that game, and I think it was Ngodiga that was the coach, that was the goalkeeper there.
That was a goalkeeper.
So and that was the outbreak. I think that was the same qualifiers too that Paula Minty started and West Ham ended.
Mm.
Yes,
No, that was his last game at that time.
yes.
Where
I think it was West Ham
Western
that
was
pushed them.
around, but
I
he
think it was
had
West
not
Ham that,
been officially
yes,
handed over the team.
yes,
So he went with them to Cameroon, but it
yes.
was still baby boy, Wonder Boy, Paula Mills.
Wonderful, whatever Flamington,
That was
head
the
coach.
coach that took
Yes.
them there. Although people said West Ham being there was a distraction, maybe not.
Mhm.
But that game was actually not lost in Yaoundé. We had lost because we did not take advantage of our opportunities before that game.
Oh,
The same thing
yes,
that keeps happening up to
yeah,
today.
yeah. And there's a coincidence. Remember, in that World Cup qualifier series, we played against Gabon.
Yes.
And anytime we play against Gabon, we don't qualify for the World Cup.
Oh my God. Oh, we did against them in 2005 too.
5 2, yes. And this year again, we play against them
I never.
anytime.
This
So,
is a good point that I never thought about.
and the funniest thing is too, anytime we have Rwanda in our group, we are not going to the World Cup. So
Wow.
in 2005, we had Rwanda. This year again, we also have Rwanda. So in fact, it's when I saw that Gabon play, it's like I was like, is it about omen or what? But the way it is. But just to I want to point something out from that 1990. Clement Western said something there when Nigeria failed to qualify, that we should not think about 1990. He said we should think about what? 94.
Yes.
This team will be ripe enough for 94. He had a project based on what you saw against, based on what you observe on Eric Shell. Do you think that this guy can get us ready for 2030? Because then nobody believed that West Ham could do that. He said, don't plan for now. He said that no, he doesn't even he didn't even care about August 90 that much, because it took so many Rockies to August 90. But I think he targeted Senegal 92 and USA and Tunisia and USA 94. Based on what you observe here, do you see any positives from Eric Chair? Do you think that they should give him that project to take us, that not even qualifying for the next World Cup is to go and perform in the next World Cup, like, very well? Do you think that you can entrust him with that type of thing that we saw?
Okay. In trying to answer this question, let me circle back to the Western angle that you said. A lot of people know this. Some people do not. Maybe they've not paid attention. Western succeeded largely based on two factors.
Mm-hmm.
The first factor was that by the end of the 80s, by 88, after the Maroc 88, a lot of Nigerian players left Nigeria.
Yes.
The likes of Charles Okonkwo, Wole Odegbami, a whole lot of them.
Yes.
So when West Ham came, and most of them, unfortunately, did not quickly succeed in Europe. So they were not available for selection for Nigeria. So what West Ham had to do was rely on the home-based players. And that was the set of players that he took to the ECOWAS Cup in Bauchi in 1990.
Was it 1990?
Yes, 90. In 1990, he took them to the ECOWAS Cup a young Amokachi was in that team, because the players that could have been in that team as a result of the fallout of Maroc 88, most of them, Issa Shofolu, a lot of them, Wole Odegbami had gone to Cyprus, Charles Okonkwo had gone to England and then to Cyprus. A whole lot of them, Folorunso Okenla, all of them were not available for selection. So it was easy to now decide to pick fresh home-based players.
Yes.
So, and the fact that those home-based players, he now had enough time with them, 5 years.
Yeah.
So that long term also rubbed off on the team. that fine, they are in the league. Most of them played at home. In fact, it was from the league that the ones that traveled, like Friday, Elao, Charles Okechukwu, I said Charles, Uche Okechukwu, all of them, they left Nigeria. Isaac Semitoje played until I think 1993 before he left. A whole lot of them were, they had that basic Nigerian system in their fabric. So it was easy for him to get those players together to go and do great things that they finally did in 1994. So that's the two factors I think was responsible for his success. Of course, there were other things, but those are the keys.
Even the government thing.
And then there was the support of the government. Because, see, when people talk about
although that government matter, because I want us to go to administrators fully.
Okay.
But I want to also talk, so based on, you mentioned one key point, so let me just dissect it now. One key point then that he went to the local league.
Yes.
Because we had something to fall back on.
Yes.
And those years, I think I remember that Uwanya Nationally was doing very well, the local league then.
Yeah.
And also they has this guy, Tony Nwagwe. I don't know, maybe you know the boy.
Yes, Tony Nwagwe. They had a lot of players. Uwanya Nationally they were the largest beneficiary of the breakup of Leventis United and Abiola Babes. They got all of the good players, the best players from those two teams. Of course, because they were the highest spender at that time. Before them,
I think she find herself at private jets.
Yes, before them, Leventis and Abiola Babes were the highest paying clubs.
Highest paying
none,
team,
none could beat both of them, and it showed in the fact that Abiola Babes were able to play in 4 finals of the FA Cup back to back. It showed in the fact that Leventis were able to come from Division 3 to win Division 1 league. 3 years. They played Division 3, Division 2, and Division 1, winning each of those titles. It is because of the quality of players that they had. Other clubs had players. In the early 90s, I say this to people, and a whole lot of people could bear me witness. In the 20 league teams, every club would have, mention one club, I will tell you 3 players that you can pay to go and watch. Any club, you have 3 players at the minimum that you will pay to go and watch. So the quality, because these players, maybe because there was a lack of exposure, they were in the league. Not that the league was perfect. The league was not perfect. Some of this noise that we make today was still present in the league at that time. Fixtures congestion. In fact, it was worse at that time because there were teams. There was what they called the boardroom points at that time.
Yes.
When two teams when you petition against, when Club A petitions against Club B, they would take maybe, let's say for example, Shooting Stars Kano Pillars play now, and there's a Shooting wins the game 3-1. I'm using a specific example, a true example now. In 1992, Shooting Stars defeated Kano Pillars 3-1. Kano Pillars protested. The NFA at that time deducted the 3 points from 3SC and gave to Kano Pillars. Yes, you understand. So these things happened at that time. So you now ended up with clubs that maybe the actual amount of points that they had on the pitch is not even up to the ones that they got from the boardroom.
So and that was one of the problems too we had. But I just want to fast forward slightly.
Okay.
Anytime we're in a problem, we normally look for a way to get out of that problem. And I said it that after the 1980 AFCON, the team that won the AFCON, they have reached their peak at that moment in time. So, and very good, respected boy now in the field now. I think he left the team. Players like the late Christian Chuku left the team. They left the team. But then there was a certain Adigbo Enigbi that was appointed in 1983, going to 84. I think that was Buhari's regime. To take the team to Ivory Coast 84. He took the bulk of under 20 players like Chibuzo Igilugu, players like your very good Egbo, I forgot his name, he's at Chifoluwe, and so on. We went for youth. And you said that when those boys traveled out in 1989, 87, 89, or the governments of this world, Westhoff went to the league. Now, there's a problem now.
Okay.
in the past, when late Keshi, we had problems with Yakubu leaving the team, but then we get then in 2012, he went to the league. But 3 years before Keshi took over, then we had two teams playing in the CAF Champions League semi-finals.
Yes.
Atlant and Kano Pillars.
Mhm.
Then. So that means that 3 years, the league wasn't that bad then. He went to pick the player. Even when we had Sunshine Stars play in the semi-final of the CAF Champions League, captained by Godwin Obuabona.
Obuabona, yes.
Now, fast forward now. The age grade. Abroad, foreign born wasn't an option then. Foreign born, because we only had this man, this is our left back, Ruben Agbola, born abroad. Then we didn't have any. I think Tunde Bamidele too was born abroad.
No. Tunde Bamidele was with Water and then IICC, 3SC.
So now let's look at it now. We don't have any option. We don't have the age grade to fall back on. We don't have the league to fall back on. So just to fast forward an advice based on something that I've seen Nigerian football evolve over the years. What is the solution now? Just in few words.
Okay, let me start. Let me say, I disagree with you slightly when you say when things go wrong, we look for a solution in Nigeria. We never look for solutions in Nigeria. We look for alternatives, not solutions. And that's the problem we have. When we have problem with light, instead of fixing electricity, we started with the idea of generators. When our public water system fell apart, instead of fixing it, we started doing everybody digging boreholes. When there's a road, when the road is bad, instead of fixing it, confronting it, we say, oh, there's an alternative road. If you are going to Ado-Ekiti now, the Akure road is bad. Go and pass Ilesha road. Why? And we will not start using that Ilesha road until it gets spoiled. Meaning the Akure road is spoiled, the Ilesha road will now get spoiled. We never attempt to fix problems in Nigeria. We always look for alternatives. If you want to fix, to look for solutions, it's very easy. You know why? Morocco has given us a pathway. I was telling somebody yesterday, I said, there are some things that we are not taking notice of. Whether by whatever means, Morocco is now becoming the giants of Africa in football. Look at what their under-17 is doing. Look at what their under-20 did. Their women's team, an Islamic country, an Arab country, they got to the final of the AFCON back to back. If they win it next time now, nobody should be surprised. And all of their teams that they present, this didn't happen overnight. They had a plan. I asked a question when the emperor of Nigerian football was in government for 8 years. I kept asking this question. I asked him personally at an event, what is Nigeria's vision in football? What is the project that we are pursuing that we know that, okay, we know that things will get better? What is it? No development plan. There's no roadmap. See, you cannot keep stumbling yourself to your way to success every time. You get caught. And once you get caught, there's a problem. Before, we used to depend on the under-20, under-17. Now, because of this rot, we can't even qualify for those competitions again at under-17, under-20. The Super Eagles that all of us now hope on, look at where we are. And the reason is the same conveyor belt that is producing players for Nigeria, that conveyor belt is not broken. It's because we are choosing and picking based on non-football reasons. If we want to make progress, the first thing we have to do is sit ourselves down and tell ourselves what our goals and what are our goals in 5 years, in 10 years, in 20 years. You don't have to be there when all of this comes to fruition, but do your part at any time you are there. In the 8 years of the former emperor, what did we achieve? We kept saying this. They say they were measuring success by how many competitions we qualified for. I was one of the very few people that said qualifying for competitions is not enough. I remember Charles Okonkwo. You know Charles Okonkwo. He told me something almost 12, 13 years ago. And every time we talk now, he will say, okay, I told you this. He said this was about 13 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. He said a time will come that Nigeria will not be able to qualify for under 17. I swear to God. He said this about 13 years ago. Now it is happening.
Guys, let me just say that in case you don't know, Charles Okonkwo is a former Green Eagle,
a former Green Eagles, a former Rangers player.
Very well. He's a lawyer now.
Yes, dear devil striker. He told me this about 13 years ago. He said, hey, a time will come that we will not be able to qualify for under 17. And we are there now. We spoke about 2-3 weeks ago. He said, I don't want to say I told you so. Because when I say I told you so, that means things have gone bad. You understand? So for me, the first step is to agree that there's a problem. These people do not see, they still see the NFF job as a regular civil service job. It is not. We have to restructure. But see, our restructuring is not about the football alone. We have to even restructure the administration. The best way to do this is forget about somebody has been in football for 20 years. No, you can have a chairman who is the head of the NFF, but you need a director of football whose business is just the football side of things, development, all of these things. It will be on top of it.
Okay, Baba, just hold on one sec. Some people are just joining and they don't know your name. Okay, his name is K Baba. So
my name is
Kayode Gudare, aka Ifa of football. Encyclopedia of football.
I don't know about Ifa. See, I don't know about Ifa. I know because I know I'm pained. I know I am very, very pained.
But you know, sometimes when you say these things, it's like maybe you have seen the future. And you know, you said it when we failed to qualify for the last World Cup in Qatar.
Yes.
That if some certain things were not actually put in place, despite Nigeria, Africa having 9 slots, we might not even make it to the World Cup. And
thank you for bringing that back to our memory. And I said it because it was obvious.
Yes. So, okay, Baba, you know, you have explained this thing. I thought it was looking for alternative. You mentioned Amaju Pinnick when he became the NFF president. And I remember him saying that, you know what, it's a new direction now, new thing, new sheriff in town. He said that we want to look at diaspora born players. We want to involve them in our national team. That is like the plan now. Let's bring them in. They have somehow better football knowledge. They I'm coming. They can help with this team. He mentions few things about you know, defenders sometimes if you are not this thing, not liking coordination and things like that. That we don't be able to move past the second round of the World Cup. Let's look at what else again to do. So he left the roadmap of like my Gary, you know, this under 13, under 15. So he went to this bringing abroad. And Kebaba, to give him his own flowers. During when he brought in Genetro, we had this defense line called Oyibo War. That was Tros Ekong and Leon Balogun. That was the defense line that took us to the World Cup in Russia, because that was probably the best defense in Africa at that time. Until I don't know what happened, maybe Balogun had injury or made mistake and they dismantled the Oyibo War. It was trying to bring Kevin Boguma then. So do you think that based on his principles, have we benefited anything from that, saying that, okay, we want to involve more foreign-born players, convince them more?
Okay, and over my chest, I will tell you for free now that the inclusion of these foreign-based players has been a blessing to our football, because those guys have discharged their duties creditably. You cannot single-handedly blame them for whatever has happened. Mention any one of them, they have done their bit. I do not have anything against them, because you are born abroad, or we are all Nigerians wherever you are born. You didn't choose to be born abroad. You understand? The only problem I will have is if the only reason why you are in that team is because you were born abroad. Once you deserve to be in the team wherever you are born, even if you were born in Siberia, be in the team. But the problem with that, and I remember I will try and pull up an article I wrote about this around 2014, 2015. I will try and pull up the article and send to you tomorrow. I said this policy is an abdication of responsibility. You cannot just say, oh, we are going to bring these players. No, what are they coming to meet? There should be a policy, a plan on the ground that you're adding them to augment. But without something, you cannot build something on nothing. We didn't have a plan. That's what led us to where we are now. Anybody who is blaming those foreign born players, it doesn't know anything about administration. It is not their fault. The same way I would not blame Osimhen or those who were born here. You understand? The fact is, we have refused to have a structure that can stand the test of time. See, me, I'm not even about us winning. Even if we don't go to the World Cup, I bet we can see. Okay, let me give you a very good example. When this team, the Falcons under 20, when they went to one World Cup like that, I can't remember, like this should be about 3-4 years ago, and they came back. I said something. I said, if there's one takeaway from me, it is the fact that I have seen enough of Tosin Demeyi to know that this is a future Super Falcons player. Today, Tosin Demeyi is a strong part of the Super Falcons team. That's the takeaway. You don't have to win every time. But when you are going to the under-17 World Cup or the under-20 and you give the coach a matching order, go and win at all costs, there's a problem. It's not about winning. It's about the fact that at the end of every competition, your team now, you can point out 2-3 players that these ones are good for the under-20 from the under-17. These ones are good for the Super Eagles from the under-20. But when we do not have that, tell me now, the under-20 that failed to qualify, how many of them would you recommend like for the Super Eagles?
No. None of them are even.
Then, even if they had won the World Cup, it would still have been a failure in my estimation. We should be forward thinking, not about winning every time. It's about how many players are we able to graduate from this level to the next level. That's why FIFA calls these competitions developmental competitions, because it's supposed to help you grow from one stage to another. But we don't do that. We are always about, we want to go and win. In all the years that we've been winning the under-17, how has that impacted our game? It will not. So for me, it's not about bringing those foreign-based born players. It's about the fact that there was no structure on the ground. The first thing to do is you cannot build a house from the rooftop, Smith. You have to build from the foundation. And as of today, as we are speaking now, we do not have that foundation. So we can go to the next AFCON and win it. It does not take away from the fact that we do not still have a foundation. The fact that we got to the AFCON final the last time, and we are not able to qualify for the World Cup just next year. Don't forget this, with a team in a group comprising Rwanda, Lesotho, Zimbabwe, Benin Republic. That should tell you something.
I know. See, Kebaba, in fact, it's like my list. As you finish one point, they enter the other point before I will go there. But the next point is just about abroad, because you already explaining the whole thing about abroad. See, I listened to a renowned journalist and also a former Nigerian Super Eagles captain today. Because I saw about Joanna and Sonny Lise. He gave one example, and that example, I don't like it, but I'm going to say it. He said that when you see Victor Osimhen play, the passion in his game reflects his background. That's someone that has hugged pure water on the road, that have been through everything, that lost his mom at a very young age. He wanted to succeed. And he said that his greatest achievement was to actually take his family from poverty, which actually did. He's like a fighter. And I remember he played the game when he was in Lille against Chelsea. He was fighting Aspilicueta. I think they were like, he said, we cannot fight him, we cannot job. Like, things like that, a fighter. So he now gave another example of Alex Iwobi. He said that, good guy. But he said that he knows his father very well, a criminal lawyer, middle-aged family, well-to-do. So that he won't play the way Victor Osimhen will play.
I
he
do not
gave
agree.
that.
I
He
do not
gave
agree.
he gave that. So and I know that you
Let,
don't
uh,
agree with it.
let me tell you why I don't agree.
Yeah.
First off, because see, we are talking about two contrasting styles, two players with different styles. Or
Mm-hmm.
whether for the Super Eagles or for in the Premier League with his clubs, whether
Mm-hmm.
Arsenal, Everton, or Fulham,
Mm-hmm.
this is what's it called? This is his Iwobi's style of play. It doesn't mean that he gives less of his ability. Or if we think he's not doing what we want, we are
Mm-hmm.
at liberty to call up somebody else. No doubts about that. But when you can even have this fighting spirit of a Victor Osimhen now,
Mm-hmm.
and you are not productive. It's possible.
Mm-hmm.
It's very possible. So the fact that Osimhen has that skill, that style, and somebody else does not mean that this other person is not committed to the cause. We just have different ways of showing our commitment. See,
Mm-hmm.
like if you go, I know you're still going to get there, but if you are going to talk strictly about the Super Eagles and their misadventure in these qualifiers, I will tell you what I've always told you on and off this space. I said the problem with the Super Eagles is not about commitment, it is about consistency.
Hmm.
The fact that they could play like that against Gabon and 3 days later they played the way they played against DR, even though the stakes were higher, should tell
Mm-hmm.
you something. It's
Mm-hmm.
about the consistency. Every day they play, we keep asking which Super Eagles is going to turn up. If we can be, this guy, the former Cameroon coach, Ogobros,
Mm-hmm.
he said something in 2017 in Uyo. Was it in Uyo or Cameroon?
You
Because
go.
I know
You
that
go.
after the game in
Mm-hmm.
Uyo, we went to Cameroon for the return
Return
leg.
leg. I will do
So
one one.
it's one of those two press conferences. I think it was the one in Uyo. He
Mm-hmm.
said, this Nigerian team, because for me, that game against Cameroon in Uyo in 2017 was, I've covered Super Eagles for a while, was one of the best for a reason, because the kind of pressure that they were under when
Mm-hmm.
Cameroon were the reigning
The
African
champion.
champions. They came
Yeah.
into Uyo, they were bouncing as if they owned the town. They said they gave them an hotel. They said no, they don't want this. They went to another hotel of their own. They told us that they just came here to pick the 3 points. There was pressure. Even the journalists, I was under pressure, let alone the players. But you know what? I remember what Wilfred told me. He said this, and I think I've told you this. He said, "Bros, no, regardless of what happens, that I remember we were saying this in the team's hotel. He said, we are going to beat Cameroon. I can even help you to craft your headline.
Mm-hmm.
I'm serious. That, and you see that day, every one of them put in a decent shift and they defeated Cameroon. You understand? So if and the next game when they went to Yaoundé to play Cameroon again, they scored first before Cameroon were able to equalize and they
Yes.
played
Yes.
1-1 there. So
Yes.
it's that consistency that we lack now. If they play well today and the next game they play rubbish, then you have now start asking yourself, what exactly is the problem? Why do we have this? There
Hmm.
are a whole lot of I have a lot of academic reasons for why this is happening. You understand? But I don't want to make this much more academic than it is. But
Mm-hmm.
for me, one is part of the structure that we talk about.
Yes.
Who is the team psychologist?
Hmm.
You understand? Who is the trained one? I have a reason why I said trained psychologist
Mm-hmm.
that is there for the players. Who are
Hmm.
the team leaders
Hmm.
in the team, the players themselves? Who are the leaders of the team? Then
Hmm.
what kind of support structure? Imagine before, I said this, I think I wrote this on social media before the game against Gabon. I said the Super Eagles successfully set themselves up when they said they boycotted training. Because
Hmm.
if they had lost that game, you know what? Nigerians would conveniently leave the NFF. It was the players' head on the line that they were fighting over bonuses when they had a game. The same thing that happened in 1998 at the France 98 World Cup. I told you,
Yes.
I said one day we're going to have that conversation. I will tell you certain things that you'll be surprised.
Hmm.
Yeah. So that means if that thing happened in 1998 and in
Mm-hmm.
2025 we are still having a replay of it, that's like 28 years ago or 27 years ago. Then what has changed? What have we learned? Are you sure that we are going to learn anything from this? What did we learn 4 years ago when we did not qualify? No, tell me, what did we learn? Nothing. Nobody learns anything. We just move on because some people believe that it's just another job. No, by now, some people should, before they are pushed, they should have jumped. They should have resigned. But nobody is going to resign. Nobody is going to sack anybody because it's just another job. It's a career job for them. And the funny thing is, the only structure that we have is what I call a structure of criminality. I don't have any apologies for that. If this present NFF leaves office today, the next set of people will still be people who are beholden to the emperor. It is that bad. It's that bad. So for me, it's a thick forest. Trying to navigate a way out of it is difficult, but it is doable.
Yeah.
It's doable.
I hope so. I hope so with that we can do. So let me just slightly move on so that I want to be fast. So I won't take your time too much. So I talked about the talents now, and you said that there's no really big difference in talent. It's just the game and the way that you would approach. But let me just ask one further question about talent. You have covered Eagles and Nigeria football for so many years.
Yeah.
And I say to some people that the level of talent we have now is not the same to the one we used to actually have before. I don't know, maybe the issue have to do with the society. Maybe football is evolving. Maybe now you require more training before you can get to the top level. So, people say, oh, we are players. I give an example of this. When you have data and you are plotting it and there's one anomaly, that anomaly could be a mistake. Okay, that's that. Okay, since Victor Osimhen and Chukwueze broke out the national team, since after their under 17, that's about 10 years ago now. How many players have progressed in Nigeria? Most of the players are coming from what? From academies, from foreign clubs and things like that. So, and say, okay, we're not doing the right thing, but there's someone like a Kuleshinamen, working with Beyond Limit, having good facility to train players, even himself, finding it very hard to produce player in that same system. So, do you think that what we have is not what the Europeans need, or the talent is just going down like that? Because I know that this Jackpot syndrome too might also be a big factor, because now we have more foreign-born players scattered everywhere. So what do you think could be the problem? Is it like there's no domestic talent that much? Even our league self. Look at our league self.
Okay.
League is like a power television program. You don't get work, make you go play league. So what's your opinion about that?
Okay. Let me say so. Let me point out something. I think we are interchanging two different concepts now. You're talking about talent, but what I think we have now is not talent, is higher profile players, not talents. The players we have now play for higher profile clubs than what we used to have. You understand? People forget that Okocha at his most majestic, at his most imperious form, never played for a big team. You understand? Maybe Kanu was an exception, because everywhere Kanu went, he played for the top team in Italy, in Holland, in England, except when he went to Portsmouth. But Okocha never did. Rashidi never did. Okay, Olise did, but not until he got to Juve, and then Ajax. Because when all of them played in RFC Liège, they were not a top team.
Yes.
They were not a top team. Even Ipeba, when he played there until he went to Monaco, they weren't a top team. So but what they had was talent. What these players have now is a higher profile because of the clubs they play for. But that does not mean that they were necessarily better than the players we had before. You know what has changed? The fact that our recruitment method, our production system now is faulty. Not that the players are not there. the players are there. The ones who are at home now, they don't get the chance to play. That's why you see a player who is 30 years old will tell you he plays for a so-called academy. That is an anomaly.
Mm-hmm.
If you are 20, you should be considered too old to be in an academy. But
Mm-hmm.
no, you have players who are 30 years old still in academies. Then the ones that struggle to get out of here to Europe, because they go out without any structure, they go to all these lower leagues, Lithuania, Tajikistan, and everything. By the time they work their way to visibility in Europe, maybe Belgium, Holland, or so, they have spent their productive years. So they end up spending 2, 3 years in the limelight, and then they go down.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Because, but if you consider, okay, let me give you a good example now. You just see some players. Nobody happens by mistake,
Mm-hmm.
but you see some players that you just see them. This one is in what do you call it? Is in Tajikistan. This one is in Lithuania.
Mm-hmm.
The number of Nigerian players in all those lower leagues, you cannot count them. But before they work themselves up to a point where the national team selectors will notice them, it usually takes time. In order to now short circuit the system, the process rather, their managers, their agents, their parents will now look at the national under 17, under 20, do whatever they need to do, and they are called into those teams, and then we go to the World Cup or AFCON and mess up. And then those players are lost forever.
And
it's a no-win situation for Nigeria.
Yeah. And okay, Baba, let me just put it this way.
Okay.
Then we had Barcelona coming for Bengal Kunawa.
Yes.
We had, I think, Bakatu came for Aruna Babangida.
Mm-hmm.
We had what's it called? Chelsea, Man U fighting for Miguel Obi.
Yes.
We had Arsenal taking Kelechi Fari, from this thing. We had players, I don't know, maybe it was Real Madrid Castilla that went for Michael then, 1990 or so, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Real Madrid Castilla. So we had those big clubs. Might okay, come, be in our system, develop more, and let's actually project you. It used to happen before. But you don't see any movement again. In fact, for you to see a Nigerian player, Joseph Akpala moved from Bender Insurance to Club Brugge in Belgium. Taiwo was from Lobby Stars to Marcel. At least we can see all those type of movements, Even when Akpala moved to Belgium then, we were not really happy. But still, he was a top scorer in the Nigerian Premier League then, and he went to Club Brugge, and even did so well in Club Brugge. We had Tosin Dosunmu, who was playing for West Ham. We had them move. Then, even I think Ige was in just Belgium before he moved abroad. So we had those guys then, at least moving. But the issue is this: when they move now, not be to move to those places, to move to Afghanistan, to move to Iraq.
Do you know why that is? You know why that is? It's very simple. And I'm going to just use one example, the Bengo Kunawa that you use. Bengo Kunawa played for Exide FC of Ibadan in 1994.
Mm-hmm.
By 95, he was in Shooting Stars.
Mm-hmm.
By 96, he was playing in the Champions League final now. By 96. Do you see the progression?
Mm-hmm.
From 3SC, from I remember I played the FA Cup, the State FA Cup final against Shooting Stars in 1994, I think, with a couple of very talented players. He got into 3SC by 95. By that 95, even though he was a young player, he got into the flying under 17. My bad. He got into the under 17. He was a part of that under 17 1995. Okay, from there, I want you to see the progression. From there, by 1996, he scored in the Champions League final against Zamalek. So you see, he had proven himself. He was playing among 3 years here at that time had the best team in the league, because they were double champions in 1995. They won the FA Cup and the league. So they played in the Champions League final and got to the final. They played in the Champions League and got to the final in 1996. So he had a cast of very talented players to play with, and he proved himself because there was quality in the league. The players we are talking about now, I follow the local league now. Yeah, I'm a 3SC fan. Nothing is changing that. Up 3SC. But there's a lack of talent in the league. The ones who are here, you remember Kulesha Name said something. At the end of the day, everybody is playing for something. There's a motivation. These players also are family members. Most of them are the breadwinners of their family. So they need to make money. If they are being paid 500, 600,000 in Nigeria, and they have a club in Vietnam that will pay them ₦1 million, they won't think twice before they leave. That's because ₦1 million is better than 500, 600,000. And when they go, most of them, if not for the grace of God, most of them are lost forever. So when you look at some players and you say they are going to Iraq, they are going to Iran, what alternative do they have? You want them to stay in the league where a player will sign a valid contract, and then because of a poor run of a result, the club will say, we are slashing your salary by 50%. Who does that? Where is it done in the world? If they are not playing well, slashing their salary should not be an option. No, it's not. But that happens, and I'm not talking about Eyimba alone. That is a standard in Nigerian league. They would say, they would tell the coach, we give you 3-match ultimatum. After 3 matches, you are sacked. The players are on half salary. It is not done like that. What has the management done to make sure that they get good results? Do you understand? So for me, I think there are 2 things that could help our league grow. And I'm going to say those 2 things now. The first is, it may be staggered, but the government has to answer up the league. It may not be immediately. I'm not saying they should hand off this year. They may give them a 5-year gap, that every year you gradually de-invest. Maybe you are funding 3SC 100% this year. Next year you fund them by 80%. The next year 60%. Next year 40%. Next year 20%. And then by the 6th year, hands off, because they are even holding these clubs back from growing. I see the potentials with 3SC. I wore a jersey of the team, and I know how many people from abroad who were asking me, how can I get this shirt? How can I get this? All of those revenues are being lost. And you know why? Because the clubs are satisfied that whatever comes, they are going to get money from the government, money that they will not account for. So it's easy. If a private organization is sponsoring you, the first thing they want is your accounts. They want to see that the 10 million that we gave you, this was how you spent it judiciously before we give you 20 million. That's what most people are running away from, because these clubs are just PR for state governments.
Yes. And you have actually answered that part, very well. My major concern is just that sometimes we see progression. These boys that go abroad, they will be in academy, they will not progress. There's a player that played for 3 years. He played for Sunshine Stars, one of the best Nigerian defender in the league about 2 or 3 years ago. Villarreal signed him. All this La Liga partnership with this thing, he was part of it. They signed him. They sent him away after 3 months.
Because
the quality don't measure up to what is required for them. It's in the 3rd team of Villarreal. And there was a certain player that they signed to from was it from Cameroon? The boy is now one of, in fact, the boy played for Cameroon. He played for Cameroon in this Cup Qualifier. To tell you. So
that's where merit is the driver of a process, it's easy to excel if you are good.
Yes.
Where merit is the driver of the process, it's easy to excel if you are good. If you are not good, no Godfather will come and help you. Godfather can help you move from Nigeria to Spain. The Godfather, hold on, please. Let me. I did not plug my. I'm coming.
Yes.
My child. This will go off now.
Oh. So guys, in like 10 minutes or so, you can ask him about a question if you want to.
Let me just plug this.
So guys,
yes. So for me, like I said, where merit is the driver of a process, it's easy to excel. And
Yes.
if you're not doing well, you fall by the wayside. But
Mm-hmm.
because a godfather can help you to move from Nigeria to Spain, but it cannot help you to excel in Spain.
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
Yorubas have a saying, pé wọ́n máa ń báyàn wáṣẹ́ ni, wọn kì í báyàn ṣe.
Yes.
They can help you to get a job. Nobody will help you to do the job.
Good job. Yes.
So because the foundations are faulty, there are some fundamentals that these players miss in
Yeah.
their development. And
Yeah.
once you miss those fundamentals, you
Yeah.
cannot get it again.
Yeah. So talking about fundamentals,
Yeah.
Baba, I'm currently following the under 17 World Cup taking place in
Okay.
Qatar, and I watched one game between Morocco and Mali.
Okay. I think I did
When
too. Although I saw the highlights. That's why.
when in games like this, Morocco against Mali is mismatch in under 17 category, even in under 20 category. But I realized that these North African teams, they are now competing
Of course. Yeah.
at this under age level, and it tells me so that they are doing something differently to nullify, I mean, to outclass us in this age
Yes.
category. That's how I saw it. Then I saw how Sundance taught Remo a bad football lesson in Abeokuta.
Yes.
Then if Pirate is coming to Nigeria, they go chop am for Champions League. If Pirate is coming to Nigeria, they will always chop it because I Orlando Pirates is never how to say they use that's like the biggest club, probably the biggest club in South Africa. Then they are not close to our I know there's also Sundance then, they're not close to us, but they have the league. We don't, in fact, the last time a West African team won the CAF Champions League, I can't remember. West African team playing the final of the CAF Champions League. I can't even remember again. I think the last West African team that won the Champions League, I think it was probably Enyimba. I don't know. I think it was probably Enyimba.
I think so. No, these people won it. When did Kotoko? Was it Kotoko?
Oh, I think Kotoko not won it.
No, not Kotoko. The Earth of Oak was okay. It was before.
It was back, way back.
Yeah, that was
Way back. So imagine Enyimba was the last West African club to win that. Even Rivers is probably the only. Okay, Rivers and Stade de Malien, they are probably the only West African team playing in this year's CAF Champions League group stage, the expanded one.
Mm-hmm.
So the league itself know their and again. Now they are taking underage from us.
They have taken everything. Not only you see, let me say this, Smith. You see, in the up to the 90s, the gap. I'm taking a little bit away from football now, just to show you how much the North Africans have overtaken us. When I say us, Nigeria and the rest of sub-Saharan Africa, the gap between Nigeria and every other African country in table tennis is so wide that if there were 20 medals, Nigeria would probably win gold, silver, bronze in all of the events. And then maybe out of 20 medals, we could win 17 or 18.
Mm-hmm.
Now, by intention, purposefulness, we are now second behind Egypt. Not a close second. The only hold on, please.
Guys, send your questions.
The only person who is a bright light for us is Aruna. Apart from Aruna Quadri, nothing again. Nobody else. And this is not a disrespect to other players who are also trying. Of course, we have some of these upcoming players who are also doing well, but the gap is just too much because of the development that these people are putting in place intentionally. You cannot build something out of nothing on nothing, Smith. It's common sense. We are not trying. Let's not deceive ourselves. We are not trying. We are. It's just like what we do in our everyday life. Somebody who doesn't have a job is not equipped for any job. Will keep on praying that God will do a miracle. What sort of miracle? What sort of miracle are you hoping for?
and that's, see, so now that if you are the one even leading me to the next point, because you already touched on that, say that we are not ready. Talking about administrators, you have had, when you stopped covering national team, that was when Amaju Pinnick, the emperor of Nigerian football, was there.
Yeah.
So my issue with them is like leadership recruitment. I don't know how Ibrahim Gusso got into football, in my own opinion, because I tried to trace his background. Say he was in Zamfara FA. How did he get to Zamfara FA? Is this guy even a football fan? No, no, no. I know some people don't, they don't like football because there's money there. They just want to be there. Is he even a football fan? I look at Amaju Pinnick. If Amaju Pinnick is talking football, I will want to vomit because I will realize that oh, guys on Instagram, it's on because after 1 hour, guys, you have to join on YouTube. So sometimes I want to vomit. I just realize that where are we getting this that from? So now, leadership recruitment. If there is no good leader, there's no way we can actually get it right. Actually understand that. So based on leadership, where do you think we should source for our leaders? Because I look for these things now, Babage. I realize that there's no anybody to tip for the NFL president. There's nobody. There's nobody that wants to come and swim in those dirty water. I don't understand. So, how do you think we should focus on where do you think we should get our leaders from in this stage? Because if we don't get it,
that's a big question. Where do we get our leaders from? The fault is not is in us, because, like I said, you see, without trying to insult anybody's sensibilities, I have said this before. I said for some of these guys, for us, it is passion, it is our daily bread. But for them, it is just another job. Just another job that's lucrative where you can make money that you don't have to account for. Because I will say this: if Amaju Pinnick is standing right in front of me, I will tell him that I was in some events where he said, "Oh, they are trying to sign this deal. They are trying to sign that deal that will make them self-sufficient. They will not need government money." There was one in particular in 2018 or thereabout, where he said, "With this deal that we are signing, we are now 96% self-sufficient." Yet, up to tomorrow, they are still collecting money from government. You understand? So for me, we are not going to go anywhere to get our leaders. We are a reflection of those who lead us. You understand? Some of us that are making noise today is not because we don't like what is happening. It's because we are not beneficiaries of what is happening. That's the difference. So when we benefit from it, we'll not see anything wrong in the way our football is being administered.
Okay. Thank you for that point that you have made. I have to go to your guy. The chief Muniana. As he chief, I don't know if he's a chief Muniana. This is the one I actually would like to listen to and also will respect. I remember that he had issues with Clement Westerhoff.
Okay.
Before, I think Westerhoff was doing some. I think was it in Papenda? How long was it in Papenda that he could talk to him like this? My job is to report, and I will tell you the story.
Yes.
If I'm your friend, the only thing I can do for you is give me your own side of the story.
Exactly.
So I can balance it. I'm going to do my job. But what I now observe basically is this. It's like the journalists I see now, they are praise pastors, wishing players and I'm just happy birthday on social media. So, if there's a failure in leadership, I think who normally, hold them accountable is actually what the media.
Yes.
But what I see now is that there's like nobody. So these guys can do whatever they like. So what do you think is the role of media. Do you think that these guys that are just there because they are eating as part of the NFL, they are, they give them extra calls, they go somewhere? Do you think that that might influence, or what? Why do you think that media is failing now?
The media is failing is a very simple question, and you have even answered the question from your you have answered from your question. The media is failing because we are before you are able to hold anybody accountable, you must also be without blame. You cannot be without be blame. You cannot blame somebody for something you are also guilty of. Let me tell you this: in the days in complete football, complete sports, and everything, there was a standard rule that Oga put in place that usually when the Super Eagles go to play anywhere, there's a list of those who will fly with the team, blah blah blah, those who will get extracos and everything. Oga specifically said, if we are, as a company we are not able to fund your trip, then you are not going. I'm telling you. He said, because if you go on the bill of the NFF, how can you, in all good conscience, report anything that they are doing badly? Tell me. So I can tell you for free that I'm not saying some of our staff that went on trips did not get anything, but officially those trips were self-funded. When I went to Russia, the company paid, not the NFF. I have never been on any trip that NFF paid. I can say that I've never collected a kobo from anybody in NFF. Okay, what do you call him? May soul rest in peace, Chief Ogujobi. Because of our Ibadan connections, he will say, hey, Moniko, worry me. I never went. Never, not once. Anytime we meet each other, I will say, there was a day we met in Abuja. I think I went for something. He now said, I said you should come and see me. Sir, I will come, but not me. You understand? Because you are able to do all of these things so that if tomorrow I sit in the comfort of my house and I write anything that is factual, that is true about you, I would dare you to go and disprove what I've written. Because I know that what I've written is true. You understand? But because we have some so-called journalists who would be waiting for players to give them money, to give them boots, to give them jerseys, and they also carry bags for administrators. Then tell me, how can you say what this administrator is doing is wrong? You cannot, in all good conscience. Basically, what that means is inherent in every gift is the ability to corrupt. Once I collect anything from you now, and if I say any bad thing against you, it is a sin. It's a sin. You understand? So the best thing is what my Oga did. Oga will say no. Of course, we know when they ask for a list for names that people should come and submit. Ask anybody. Complete Sports will be the only organization that will not submit anybody's name. Of course, you as a journalist can go and leverage on whatever private connection you have with them. But as an organization, Oga will say, if you are not able to fund you, then let's stay at home. There has been one that we funded only a photographer to an event, to a competition. He said, okay, whatever they do there, we want exclusive pictures. Let the photographer go. We cannot send two people. But it was easy. The NFL was giving people free pass. But he said no. And he will always tell you, the first thing he told me when I started working there was, see, this job, you are good at what you do. People want to be your friend, not because they like you, but because of what they think you can do for them. They will give you money. For you, that money will be something substantial. But for them giving you, it's nothing. But if you collect that money and you now go around to say you want to do your job, you are shot yourself in the foot. So I can say this for a lot of my colleagues at that time. Like, even though I know that people will always be people, maybe some people leverage on that platform that I write for this XYZ and collected money. But as an organization, no, not once. Not once. As a matter of fact, this thing I'm telling you, Etimesi told me personally that when Oga came to Belgium, he begged Oga to stay in his house. Oga said he was going to stay in an hotel. So eventually, when the begging was too much, Oga stayed. And whenever Messi was going out, he was a playboy. When he was going out, going to club, Oga would be on the spraying mat.
Hmm.
He never collected anything. When it was, Olise said the same thing. Ipeba would say the same thing about him. When he had that book launch, I bet you there's no other person in sports in Nigeria that could attract the kind of crowd that went to his last book launch in Unilag.
Hmm.
Because of integrity.
Hmm.
You understand? But when you now see journalists that you want to help you hold officials accountable, carrying bags, going to players' rooms. I know somebody who was sharing his wedding IV to players on National Assembly. Tell me how you collect money from those players and be able to write that this player is not good. It's a commonsensical thing. It's not going to happen. Let's not deceive ourselves. It's not going to happen. So we can sit here and talk all day long, but the fact is, if you have compromised yourself, you have lost the right to see anything about anybody. It's just as simple as that.
Yes, in fact, you don't break them down because you have explained this thing in details so much that a lot of people, you don't keep increasing. We used to be, we're tiny, but now we're getting bigger here. So I want to ask you this, we know that is quite different now. What about the role of new media? Because, I've seen situations that anybody can I'm not a journalist though. I'm just a sports fan though.
Okay.
I don't have any qualification.
It's a good time for you to deny us now. That you are
not. I don't have any qualification regard. And shout out to Evan D. When I listen to you, Evan D speaks, you guys normally, ginger me. But I want to say something. This new media thing, do you think it's watering down the role of the real journalist? Because sometimes somebody can just wake up from his bed, maybe on the wrong side though, and say that put camera off. See, and the issue is this. According to reports, I've seen somebody cover Super Eagles game that does not even know the club of this player. And this player is a very popular player. Go to the club again because he just like maybe just finish NYSC, just want to do something, quickly.
My.
So, do you think that that's new media too? This is watering down journalism. That's is diluting it, and that's the reason why we're here.
Ordinarily, let's be very, very honest with ourselves. New media should actually be a booster. It's not supposed to water down whatever, because what we are doing now is new media.
Mm-hmm.
If it was before, we have to go to a studio to sit and talk, and then we wait for when this program is going to be here. But because of new media, that's why we are able to do whatever. It's about the application, how you use it. It's just like a cutlass now. A cutlass could either be a weapon or something you use. You could either use it to cut grass or you use it to cut somebody. It depends on how you apply it. It's not the new media that is the problem. It's the way it is applied. And those who are supposed to be gatekeepers. And when I say gatekeepers, there are two folds. The gatekeepers are those in the media. For example, if I run an organization and I am well trained, I know what is news and I know what is not news. So you can't. The fact that you hold the camera does not mean you are qualified to do the work of a journalist. You understand? You can report, but that doesn't make you a journalist. Now that's one part. The other part is when I used to cover the Super Eagles, we had people. There used to be a camp commandant, and I can give you a list of them, but the most famous one will be ACP Gideon Akinshola. I don't know whether he's still an ACP now, whether he has been promoted, but he used to be a camp commandant at that time. That there are some rules that we all respected. For example, you see players. You see 24 hours to a game. When players should be in their room resting, you see people making content from players' rooms, all sorts of things, and I get very, very irritated. Back in those days, I had the privilege of being close friends with some of these players. So the few times I go to their room, I was smuggled. And I respected the fact that these players leveraged on my relationship with them, smuggled me in. I got some reports. I left quietly the same way I went in, and I did my report without letting it out that, okay, I was with this person. But now everybody wants validation. You want to show how close you are to player A, B, C. You bring them on a game as important as a World Cup qualifier. You see players who should be in bed doing content and all this with journalists. If there was no match, you could do whatever you want to do. I don't have anything against that. But when there's a game, you should respect the fact that you are representing all of us. And if no matter how important that is, that's where the media days. And we had some media officers of this team. One of them that comes to mind is Tony Bitoye, when he was media officer of the team.
Good man.
Big up to him. You couldn't fault him. He was very, very professional. But what you see these days is somebody will just bring up a ring light and start broadcasting rubbish. See, there are a whole lot of things to cover when the Super Eagles are in camp. I can tell you, I remember once now when we went for a game and I was like, okay, what can we do? This was the Super Eagles in camp. They were in their hotels and everything. I just thought about it and like, I called her because I went with the cameraman. I'm like, you know what? Let's start taking pictures. We took pictures of the lobby, and I took my own phone. I went to one of the players' rooms. I took a picture of the room, of how his boots and everything was in the room. There were two of them in the room. I'm not going to mention names. So I took all of this. We took pictures of the lobby, of the hotel, everywhere. We put it on our website. Do you know what? We went to bed because it was late. In the morning, Oga called me and said, you know, that was wonderful. Because we said, this is where your Eagles live. Not one player was in that story. Just picture. Not one. You understand? We had massive views on it. But we respected the fact that these players are in camp. You can't just say you are doing content 24 hours, 48 hours to a game. Tell me other countries where this happened. People don't they don't understand when you say this. I remember when, I think it was Olise that said the same thing, that when you see players 24 hours a game, that you see that happening with Argentina, for example, and we should be comparing ourselves to those countries. You understand? But what we have is players who don't do the right thing, journalists who don't do the right thing, officials who don't do the right thing. So who's going to correct who?
Who's going to correct who? See, you've already actually answered, that part on the media part, and and also that's why I asked one of people in the media in Super Eagles that what is the criteria to get accreditation to cover Super Eagles game?
Nothing.
Do you have, because I know that it includes, there's always there's dressing, there's always moderation if you're a professional and things like that. Can you wear clothes that are not edible and things like that to Super Eagles game in confused player? The person who told me that if I like, I should wear boxers. Okay, sir. Okay, no problem there. So it was just saying few things, but that is that about. So that means that if you are collecting something from somebody, you cannot hold them accountable.
No, you cannot. It's not possible.
So okay, let's just move on to I want to look at the way forward, but let's talk about infrastructure.
Okay.
People have complained that we don't have infrastructure. For a country as big as 250 million Nigerians, we don't have any stadium apart from Uyo Stadium, as actually was CAF approved to actually was joined. Do you think this one infrastructure alone is pushing us behind? Because even in the 80s too, it's not as if we have infrastructure that much. Most of that most of our stadiums are not really good, but I think that was the requirement there. So I think we had national stadium and things like that, but it wasn't as if we had a lot of infrastructure. But in Nigeria 99, we were able to get any good stadium up, get some stadium up and things like that. Do you think that infrastructure too is part of what is also holding us back?
Funny thing is, when we talk about infrastructure, I laugh a lot when people say this. The fact is, the greatest harm done to Nigerian league football or football in Nigeria generally is when we allowed or we agreed that that it was okay to have all of these artificial turfs.
Mm.
That's not the beginning of our problem, but that was something that spiked our problem because see, I play swan football, and when we play, I know what that pitch is. When you are playing on those artificial turfs, it doesn't aid football. In fact, it's supposed to be like an option when for weather purposes, okay, you need something else to play. But now it is the main staple for Nigeria. It is the main staple. And we have never been one that has a lot of facilities. Look at Lagos, for example, now. In 1999, when we were going to host the under
20.
under 20 World Cup, the legacy pitch was constructed.
Mm-hmm.
On every given day, a minimum of 4 games are played on that pitch. Up to today. That pitch, apart from Mobolaji Johnson, that's the former Onikon, that's functional. The Agege is under reconstruction. The Slim is under reconstruction. That is the only place that football is being played now. Excuse me. And 1999 to 2025 is about 20 something years, almost 26 years.
Yes.
Nobody has talked about maintaining that pitch. But you know what? Money is being collected from people who use that pitch. So one day you just find out that the pitch is rendered useless. Then we start looking for alternatives. Now multiply that by the number of states that we have. As it is today, it is a shame that the only stadium that is standard that we have is the one in Uyo. I can tell you about some structural defects even in the one in Uyo. I've covered games there. It's not friendly for journalists. Yes, it's not friendly for journalists. Fine, the pitch is okay. The facilities are top notch. But you know what? Abuja is rusting away. I was there when they commissioned the stadium in Abuja in 2003. We have not utilized 15% of the capacity of that Abuja stadium. Like facilities there, we have not. But you know what? Today is no longer in use. That brings us back to what I told you earlier on, that in Nigeria, when there's a problem, we don't look for solutions. We look for alternatives. There was a time that we ran away from, we went to Calabar, we were using the UJ SNS Stadium until we finished it. We went to Port Harcourt. We finished Port Harcourt.
We went to Worry.
We went to Worry. With that waterlogged. We finished it. Now everything is on.
Benin. Went to Benin too.
Yeah, because Uyo is being managed by a responsible company. How does it sound that Nigeria? So when people talk about facilities, it's not that the facilities are not there. It's about management, the culture of maintenance that we lack. And it's not only in our sports facilities, it's in everything. When you build a road, you use the road until it gets spoiled. Before you think about building an alternative. You understand? So this issue of maintenance of facilities is not about, you can build all the facilities you want to. If you do not have a proper maintenance culture, there's a problem. That's what we are having now. That's why, as much as we want, Uyo, the people are warm, they are friendly. Like I keep telling people, if I am allowed to choose another state apart from my state of origin, I will choose Akwa Ibom. Yes. I love this. I love the people. They are very friendly, very welcoming. But the football spirit that you find in a place like Lagos is not there. The kind of spirit you find in a place like Kano. Have you watched a game in Kano?
Yeah. I've been in Kano before.
So that spirit to be the 12th person on the football pitch, gingering the team, is not there. And that's because they are a laid-back people. Even I used to joke that even the area boys, they do their area boys thing with gentility. They are like they don't have the grace that Port Harcourt has, for example, now. Because Port Harcourt is like Lagos. So, but the facilities they have
Yeah.
Is the reason why we keep going back there. So why
Yes.
can't we have look at Liberty Stadium in Ibadan? Do you know that
Same
stadium?
way.
That stadium, I weep when I see it now compared to what it was like in the 80s.
Hmm.
Look at the National Stadium. So what is wrong with us as a people? So you can have if you can have a wardrobe full of clothes. If you do not, if you wear it and you throw them aside, one day you find out you don't have anything to wear. That's
Mhm.
what is happening. That's where we are now. It's not for a lack of stadium. We have
Eh,
stadiums all over the place.
so, so this stadium, because I've been trying to look at it too. Who do you think should be the who should be responsible for this? For example, now I know that there are quite both state governments that the one maintaining the Uyo Township
Yes,
Stadium.
yes,
I know that the Liberty is federal government, is it?
yes. It
So
is.
it's
It's a
Adama
federal
Simba
government. Mm.
that
I
is
don't see by state.
a state.
Mm.
So, for example, I know that Balogun, State Balogun is he
It's
state
state. It's state too.
and national stadium is federal.
Yes.
So, like, is it that sports is not just on the agenda of the federal government, or is as if our sport people are not saying this thing? Now, you used to go and collect money.
No, I think what I think is it's just about putting people in office that they are not either qualified for, or they because you do not have an oversight over what they are doing, they are not bothered to do their job. For example, I know, for example, that this National Stadium in Lagos has a facilities manager.
Mhm.
You ask what is the job of the facilities manager if the stadium keeps looking like a war-torn structure. The same thing with all of these other places. I remember when you appoint somebody, you give them a brief. This is what we want you to do. You could go learn. I have a friend who, when he was schooling in England, he worked part-time with Norwich City.
Mhm.
He
Mhm.
was one of their maintenance staff.
Mhm.
He told me the number of staff that they have maintaining that pitch that you see. That's Norwich City. And
Mhm.
then they were even a Premier League side when he was in school.
Mhm.
And that was where he
Mhm.
worked. So you understand? So what does it take to have a unit, facilities management unit, where you have like 10 people employed? This is
Mhm.
their job.
Mhm.
And you give them a brief. This is what we expect. This is the outcome we are looking for. If you do not get it after 3 months, you're fired. Or if you have to have private people do it, get people to do it. It's
Mhm.
cheaper on the long run than having to build a facility for 60 billion and after 1 year it's no longer usable.
No, guys, because I can never believe that because I remember watching MK Abiola's interview in 91.
Mhm.
It was an old interview. He said that now that we are trying to build Abuja Stadium, that means that they conceived that Abuja Stadium
Yes.
around 1991.
No, it was actually in the master plan of the city from 1976.
Yeah.
Yes,
So,
everything you see was already in the master plan. Although some of those facilities were not built where they initially planned for because of land grabbers, all these people, just government officials grabbing lands. But
uh
all of them, nothing that is built in Abuja that is an accident.
yeah,
They are all in the master plan, even that stadium that you talked about.
yeah. So it was said that now that we also okay, that was 91, but now built in
Yes.
2003 for that
Yes.
Koja.
It was now built. They started in, I think, 99 or there about 2000. But I know it was commissioned in 2003 because I was at the commissioning.
Hmm, hmm,
I was
hmm.
there when it was
And
commissioned.
it was glorious. That was the African Games called Koja.
Yes, it was
In
used.
France.
It was used for the All African Games.
So now I know that these Eagles deserve to play in Lagos, in national stadium in Lagos, but unfortunately, they actually was going. But you mentioned All African Games. Now I don't want you to remember that one again because that one too have already died in natural death. Like that All African Games. I don't know exactly what happened to that All African Games. So because finally now, guys didn't ask questions. That's why I didn't actually take ask many questions. So finally on my list now is just the way forward. I know that you have discussed about the way forward too. Just to summarize it up. Now that we are here again, And you have seen Eric Shell, since start of this year, he managed the team. We are going to AFCON in 3 weeks. There's no World Cup for us. AFCON qualifier starts next year again. World Cup qualifier in 2027, election year. Now, you mentioned that Victor Osimhen might not play at the World Cup. I think Yekini too also means 86 and 1990. And he went in 1994. I think that was even when he was already. I don't think it was the peak of his power there, was it? I think it was. Was it? Ekini was he at the peak of his power then? Ekini?
No, I think the best of Yekini was between 91 and 93. 91 and 93.
Yes.
Where I think he left for Ivory Coast in 89, 90. He was in Africa Sport, and in 91 he went to Victoria Setúbal. That was where he had his best years. After the World Cup, he moved to Greece, and that was when Baba's powers was beginning to come down.
Yeah.
He had his best years, for me, if you ask me, between 91 and 93.
So, I know that I know Victor Osimhen will still play the World Cup. If Osimhen could play AFCON 2027, in Uganda, I think that's going to be 3 years for the World Cup if we qualify again. Maybe probably. So, what do you think should be the way forward now? You have touched on how to revamp the age grade system, how to make sure that our league is backed by government actually handing over those things to private sectors, how we should look for exactly how to integrate our super born players too. But if you are Eric Shell, will you advise him to stay in that job and work with these people?
Okay. Let me start by saying, in our disappointment, we should not forget one thing. Eric Shell did not lead us to where we were at that time, at the end of the qualifiers. As a matter of fact, he came in on a rescue mission, and he did pretty well. Maybe his tactics fell below expectations at certain times. Maybe we felt he could have done better, but on the back of the results he got for us, he didn't do too badly. So let's first put that one aside. Let's look at the fact that the other people who had preceded him, who came before him, if they had done what was expected of them, maybe we wouldn't be in that situation. Because, let's be honest with ourselves, Nigeria, the Super Eagles, did not have any business playing a World Cup playoff to qualify for the World Cup in a year where there were 9 spots to qualify. It shows one thing that I've always said, and I remember I've told you yourself this, that one, we are living on past glory. We are not the Super Eagles that we used to be. Let's just allow that one to sink in. That this is Nigerian national team, not the Super Eagles that we used to know. So if you judge this team based on the antecedents of those players that we used to know, it is wrong. These players are not what we used to do. And the main thing there is that we have lost our fear factor. Nobody fears Nigeria again. Nobody. Before, if you come to play the Super Eagles or Green Eagles at the National Stadium in Lagos, from the point at which your boss enters the stadium at the Surulere end, until you get into the dressing room, you know you are in trouble. By the time you get onto the pitch, double trouble. And there's no way you're going to escape. You understand? So, but that fear factor is no longer there. And of course, we could sit here all day and talk about why that is. One of them is because we have lost identity. We do not have a football culture again. That's also part of the problem we have now. And those are things that we could talk about, maybe not now, maybe not here. But we don't have a football culture. We don't have an identity. Now, what we do is we just patch things up along the line. Whatever works, let's do it until the next game, which can help you to a certain point, and then you get unstuck like we did at the last AFCON. What we did at the last AFCON was supposed to be a stopgap measure, and then Pesero turned it into a normal into a default mode. And at the end of the day, we were found out by one of the worst teams in the tournament, the Ivorians. They found out in the final painfully. So now, to go back to your question, Eric Shell, if he wants the job, of course, it's a symbiotic thing. We're also helping to raise his profile.
Mm-hmm.
So if he wants the job, we should allow him to continue. I do not have anything against him continuing. Because don't forget one thing. If you say Eric Shell should go now,
Mm-hmm.
the AFCON is how many months away? That means you are going to start building again. And then, in order to build, you cannot trust this current NFF to get you a coach in good time. You know how long it took them to get Eric Shell. The way they were looking for a replacement for Pesero, you would think they are going to bring Mourinho and Alex Ferguson, not knowing that it was Eric Shell that they were going to bring. So if you now say Eric Shell should go, make sure that you have somebody already who is going to take over, and that person is going to start from ground zero again. We'll start building. He will come with his own philosophy, his own ideas, and then the players that he wants to play a certain way. That's going to be problematic. So, in my estimation, we should do something. We should be able to give this guy the kind of, if we are looking for success, we should plan long term. Westerhoff is our most successful coach till date because he had 5 years to plan. Things didn't work from day one. One other thing that most people don't know or forget is the fact that Westerhoff never had it rosy with anybody. In fact, he was not sure that he was not going to be sacked before daybreak every day until he finally left. There was a time he had problem with the media, like you said. He had problem with Oga Momini. Not a problem, actually, because he didn't like the fact that Oga was somebody that you cannot just tell to shut up and he will shut up. He will report whatever he saw, and because he's not somebody you can give money. So how do you hold him? So he had that problem with him, and that was why when they met in Holland, he told Oga that he cannot cover the Super Eagles in Holland at that time. Now, apart from that, there was a constant struggle between Westerhoff and Chief Alex Akinyele, who was the chairman of the NSC at that time. As a matter of fact, Chief Alex sacked him verbally 3 times. Yes, 3 times. He would tell him, I'm going to sack that man. In fact, you are sacked. Then, because he had people in higher authority, Ihomu was the saving grace, who was the vice president to Babangida at the time. He would say, oh, don't worry, let him have his job back. If we could offer that kind of job security to whoever we are having as coach, and in this case, I'm not saying it must be Shell, but whoever we're having, we should, please leave the line. We should just decide that whoever it is that is going to be, give him job security. Let's have a long-term plan. What are our plans for the next 3 years, next 5 years, next 10 years? We should have a short-term, mid-term, and long-term plan. That's the place to start, Smith. Like, there's no magic to it. Show me a document that says this is our roadmap. This is what we want to do. That's what look at Spain. After the World Cup in 1998, they went back, regrouped, had a plan. It's working. It worked for them a long time. It's still working for them anyway. The same with Belgium. Belgium stars that came up with the Hazard, Fellaini, all of those players of their generation. They didn't just wake up one day and become those stars. It was deliberate. All of these countries that you see doing well was deliberate.
Do you remember that that same Belgium team fought in the semi-final of the Olympic Games?
Yes.
In 2008.
Yes.
In Beijing. We beat them 4-1.
We beat them. Then look at that team.
Look at that team now.
That's what I'm saying.
We beat them
so there will be a deliberate,
we're building.
Deliberate this thing that, okay, we want to, this is where we are going to. There will be low-hanging fruit. There will be games that we're going to win along the road. There will be some that we're going to lose. But because we have focus that we are going long-term, we don't care about mid-term results. You understand? But you see, what our people like is sharp. They want to have a coach today and start winning today. No, you don't build long-term that way.
But when you talk about our people, it's not our culture in Nigeria.
That's what I'm saying. It's a culture that is wrong.
If you cannot, in fact, when I don't remember my friend is watching now, he went to work with one of the Nigerian clubs. He was trying to tell them how to plan, how to generate revenue. The one thing that they will say is that, can I make 1 million a year? When can that?
That's what I'm saying. Because a lot of people, they ask you, what's in it for me? I know for a fact that in 2000 and So 2009, if I'm not no 2008, 2009. Somebody I know somebody who came from the United States, a Nigerian actually. He brought this fantastic idea that could have
Mm,
helped us leap over a lot of our challenges at that time. But the people he met, the
mm,
questions they were asking him were questions that he couldn't relate with. Asking him, what is in it for us?
mm,
What is in it for us? How does that benefit us? So he had to
mm,
go back. You
mm,
understand? So a lot of ideas have died like that because those who are there cannot bury their own personal greed under a national interest. They want
mm,
whatever it is, whatever does not benefit them, they don't want to do it. That's the
mm,
truth. So as long as we have people with that mindset, we are not going anywhere. And you know what? We don't learn from whatever. Now we are all pained that we did not qualify for the World Cup. And the pain is not yet now. When the World Cup itself starts, that's when all of us, players or officials or fans or press, that's when we'll feel the pain.
mm,
And immediately after that, everybody goes back to default mode.
mm,
You
mm.
understand? So
Yes.
we don't learn from our mistakes,
Mm,
and then when you don't learn from your mistake, as a philosopher said, if you don't learn from your mistake, then you repeat it all over again. That's what we keep
yes.
doing.
And that is it. There's no way we can not learn. But I think that's the reason why Eric is trying to build. I think he's trying to build a team. And
Yeah,
talking about those that have made it. So guys, if you want to ask question, 10 seconds, just ask him because he has to go now. He just came from work and answer us. Uh, South Africa is building a template of building local based players and seeing they can compete. Morocco is blending the league, age grade, and foreign born players to see maybe they can show and compete. So a lot of things actually were happening. I just hope that we can see this as a challenge and see maybe probably in the nearest future we can actually get well. But I'm going to ask you if anybody actually joins. I'm going to ask you the final question. Do you think that we have the capacity to turn the corner? In your own honest opinion, do you think
that
that
we
we
have.
have the capacity to turn the corner?
Let me put it this way. Let me use English language. We have the potential, but potential is nothing if you do not make concrete steps to actualize it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. We are see. I keep saying this. Look at Nigeria. Place us side by side. That's South Africa. If we have the mindset of those who are running South Africa football, you understand, and the facilities they have, which is not by chance anyway, and we are intentional about developing, I tell you, we would have been way, way ahead of where we are. But the fact is, those who run our football, they have a closed mind. They have a
Mm-hmm.
provincial mindset that they cannot see beyond their nose. And if you cannot see beyond your nose, it's difficult. See, because they cannot even begin to imagine some of. See, if you cannot imagine certain things, let me give you an example. When I was in Russia, I saw a facility in the grounds of the Loshniki Stadium, not the stadium itself, which is a wonder piece. But I
Mm-hmm.
saw something that, because I saw it, I understood it. If it was somebody who was explaining it to me, I would not understand or I would not appreciate it that much. Because these people have a closed mind, they cannot even begin to understand. All they know is another day in the office. There's a competition. Look for a coach, look for players, go to the competition. If by chance we win, they clap for themselves that they've done well. We keep measuring progress by how many competitions we go to, how many we win.
Mm-hmm.
We have to be intentional. By now, we should have a document that would say, okay, this is what we want to do. This is where
Mm-hmm.
we want our football to be. If you expand it, this is where we want our sports to be.
Mm-hmm.
Chief Sheikh Odebami has been saying this for forever.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with him that when we have that document that, okay, this is what we want to do in football, in table tennis, in athletics. Before, we used to, the short sprints in Africa, we used to dominate all the short sprints, 100
Was
meters, 200 meters.
I've
Now,
seen those things.
Ugandans are they are challenging us.
Yes.
Kenyans, who used to be long distance, they are challenging us now.
Yes.
Everybody's challenging us. So
Yeah.
that fear factor is no longer there. We
Yeah.
have to bring it back.
Good, yeah. So, guys, if you have like 10 seconds to actually ask you about question, Just going to answer you briefly too before I should what leaves. So here, about you just bring Uche first. Uche wants to do contribution. Please,
Okay.
very short because that's to leave. So Uche, you have been greeting Kiwaba. Say here's on Kiwaba since.
Good
So
day, good day. So
yes, just contribution
my
quickly. Yeah.
my question is the feeling of this World Cup, of us not attending the World Cup is going to is going how deep is it going to affect our players getting deals or getting contracts outside or good contract like someone like Lukman? How is it
Mm-hmm.
going to affect him getting bigger clubs?
Yes.
And well, one more question is if you check out Eguavo's under 17
Yeah.
in
In John
2003
Andre, Finland.
in Finland, you will notice that about two of the players or three of the players played until 2019. They
Mm-hmm.
gave us like longevity. That's from 2005. So those players moved to the senior team in 2005 and stayed till 2019.
Yes.
So even though they said they cheated with their age, but at least they gave us about
16 years.
16 years or 15 years in Super Eagles.
Uh-huh.
So how then do we reduce age cheating nowadays? Because if you check, see someone like I don't want to mention names. If you check Remo Stars, you'll notice that the players there, some of them are way above the age that they present. You know those faces, and even in the MPFL, we do not have players that can see Brownie there. Brownie there played for Ocean Boys, if I'm not mistaken. Played for Ocean Boys, left the
Yeah.
country, and played for
2006.
a very very long time. Give us a Nations Cup. So these are the this. I'm wondering what can we do to
Yeah.
reduce
Yeah.
age.
Yeah. Do you also have any contribution at all quickly? Any other
Um,
contribution before you
what
go?
what what we say is I'm still thinking right now. I'm thinking about it. I saw Haiti qualify. I saw that island that had about 150,000 people in population qualify.
Curacao, yeah.
Now it's hurting me.
150,000 is like a Ikorodu. Ikorodu is even more than 150.
So like what did like right now it's hurting me, and I'm wondering if these players are going to feel the same way by next year or even right now. That's
Thank you, Uche, for that contribution. I don't know maybe I should recap this or you want to ask about the impact of not qualifying for the World Cup on our players. Secondly, too, this longevity of players, if you get it right from the age grade, how can they actually help? We talked about Nigerian Academy, in Remo, still having. I know of somebody that was an apprentice of Baba, but suddenly he's became 17. I don't know, some you can even be an apprentice at 17 now. So and it's in Remo, how can you limit that age? And I'm going to say this thing here. There's one academy in Nigeria now that they register two boys, they are twins. So suddenly, one of them is now 16, rather than the other one is 18. And they are twins. So give
Okay.
up.
Okay, let me try to answer those questions. The first one about longevity in football. See,
Yeah,
sometimes it's a combination of a lot of things.
yeah.
Sometimes it could also be luck. Luck is part of it. Discipline is part of it. Because, for example, look at Ronaldo. Ronaldo has been playing forever. There are
Mm-hmm,
players that he started with that are no longer playing.
mm-hmm.
Of course, Ronaldo is an outlier. There are very few players like that. But you see, the thing about age cheat started when we and this when I say this, people don't really understand where I'm coming from. Under age football, FIFA had good intentions when they started in 1977.
77 years.
But the moment African teams got involved and saw that football could be a way out of poverty,
Mm-hmm,
we turned this whole thing on its head. You
mm-hmm,
understand? I know
mm-hmm,
for a fact somebody who played a certain under 17 competition because we are friends, I'm not going to mention his name.
mm-hmm.
But then he played, and then we were having a conversation once, and I discovered that we're talking about the Principal's Cup in 3 years earlier than that time. and it was the star of the Principal's Cup, which is, by simple analogy, would have been 11 or 12 years old at the time the Principal's Cup was. But you and I know that in those days, well, be yeah, you can't even be 20 to play in the Principal's Cup, although they are exceptional players. So you see, age has always been a problem for African countries because we lack record keeping, and it's a problem for us because when you cheat by age, you hurt yourself twice. You deny real under 17 the chance to play, and then when you play, we clap for you that, oh, you're a good player. By the time we expect you to mature and begin to play at the level of the Super Eagles, you suddenly go out of circulation.
Yes.
So that means we have cheated ourselves twice.
Yes.
So what we can do about that is very simple. Is a lack of implementation. If we decide to have a database of players, that if you ever kicked a ball and we decide that at under 12, for example, we're going to have a competition at under 12. Once you play in that competition and you leave one age, if you say you are step at that age, you cannot change it again. You may be 20 when you say you are 12, but that 12 is what you carry for the rest of your life as long as you play football. But we do not have those records. You understand? So when you go to Europe and America, and I see some people who say they also cheat there, but you cannot have 3 passports, which is common in Nigerian football. I know somebody who, there was a time I was working on a deal for somebody, and he asked me, when I said bring your passport, he said, which one of them? Yes. Yes. He said, which of the passport? I'm like, what do you mean by which of the passport? He said, because he has 3 different ages. Yes. You understand? So for me, that's the first thing we have to do. We have to be deliberate. We have to be intentional that, okay, we have messed up. We want to clean up ourselves and develop. And the right way to do it is to have a database where initially the first registration, you could lie about it. We know we cannot do anything because even up to now, FIFA does not have an accurate way to judge whether you are that age or not. But you cannot change your age.
Yes.
Once you say you are 12, even though you are 20, that 12 is what you continue to use.
Yes.
You cannot come back tomorrow and say you are 11 again.
Yes.
Which is what is normal. So once we do that, that will help us with age. You understand? That's one. Then secondly, about the implication of missing the World Cup.
Yes.
It's rain. It's rainfall that touches everybody. It will touch the press because I know a lot of the opportunities that will be missed, sponsorship and everything. The administrators, the money that they would have made, they are not going to make it. The players, career advancement will not be there because the World Cup is the highest platform where you can showcase what you are able to do. So if you are not playing at the World Cup, it limits your chance of being seen by other clubs. Because if you are not at the World Cup, it is believed that you are not among the best. Forget whatever you are able to play. So to answer the question that was asked, it is a big blow. But that blow will come slowly. We are sad now, we feel bad now, but see, it will come home to us when the competition itself starts. Look at the opportunities that even fans would have had. A lot of people are already planning on Jackpot if we had qualified.
But it don't happen. So let me just say that's why, because I don't want to stretch it. I want you to make sure that I don't sometimes when they give you the privilege, we're not NFF, we don't want to misuse the privilege. So we want to make sure that I stick to time. So I just have one last caller. Actually, that is a historian like you too, has been with the system for a very long time. That's Mr. Patrick. I don't know, maybe I've seen his face before. He used to be
I see him on your programs, even though I just watch on YouTube. I don't control. I think I the last time, sir.
He has refused to do program with me, and I told you, I say we need to do it.
He could still play for under 17 now.
Yeah, I think it probably was part of the 85 under 17. So, Patrick, your question and your contribution quickly.
Yeah, I think thank you for having me. So in fact, most of the things Kayode was just reminding me of football, in the 70s, 80s, 90s. I remember, just as you said, in this age something, Roger Miller is the same age with Segun Odegwami and even Christian Chukwu. But Christian Chukwu retired after 1982 World Cup. I think they lost to Algeria in Lagos. And,
1981.
Yeah, 1981. And 1981. Then Segun Odegwami
not playing in 80, but came back.
Yes.
Because of the World Cup qualifiers in 81.
Against Algeria.
Yes, the World Cup qualifier. Then Segun Odegwami retired 84 after the Champions Cup lost to Zamalek in Lagos.
Yeah.
That 1984.
Yes.
When they lost, they lost 2-0 in Cairo and lost 1-0. I think it was own goal. Ogben Fawole scored the own goal that day in the National Stadium. So, but Roger Miller continued to play till even 1994, because I think Roger Miller was 1952. I think he should be 73 this year, because I remember he won African Footballer of the Year 1976 and 1990. So, but he played long compared to his peer Segun Odegwami, Christian Chukwu, and all these other guys, the Buda Lawal, Aloysius Atuegu, blockbuster. So, with respect to what you were saying, I was impressed with because that national stadium, Abuja, was 2003.
Yeah.
I even remember the friendly match we played with Brazil. They beat us 3-0 in that same stadium. Is it 2000? Is it that same 2003 or?
2003.
Yeah. So now for that same stadium now to be obsolete is strange, because it was the same stadium that hosted Nigeria-Ghana playoff. That Ghana, or Thomas Partey scored the away goals that sent Ghana to the World Cup. So how that stadium now became obsolete is something that is strange to me. Now we are using only Uyo, and just as you said, the Uyo people does not know how to share the team the way Lagos.
No, they don't have that spirit.
Yes, they don't have that spirit. Because people playing in national stadium there, you will even be intimidated first, even before you enter the stadium, and that intimidation will bring stage fright in the opponent, and then the team will even lose their match. But now, most matches we are playing at home, sometimes it looks like we are even playing away because.
Because this thing. You see, Mr. Patrick, I know that when one day we're going to use you and Kebaba, because when I hear from two of you, I actually learn a lot.
Even there was something you also said just a minute on the 90, because just this long-term plan, like Westerhoff cost us 1990 World Cup, because I remembered he dropped Harry Nwosu, Ndubisi Okosieme, and Peter Rufai. And these were the people that Cameroon were afraid of. And these key three guys were dropped in that final match in Yaoundé, and we lost. And they still kept him, and then he built from there, because Nigeria is just, as you said, these quick picks. They don't want, if you watch this World Cup now, Cape Verde lost in the quarterfinal or semi-final AFCON. They left their coach, Pedro. They didn't sack them, now qualified them.
For the World Cup. Cape Verde did not qualify for AFCON, no?
Yes.
They finished in their group.
Yes, they still kept them. Even Otado, where they did bad with Ghana in the last AFCON, and they didn't even qualify for this AFCON. They still left Otado, and now he has qualified them for World Cup. So this quick something is now is our problem, because you have to give a coach time. Because national team job is not like club where you have time. You just have 2-3 days. So in most cases you make mistake before you can find the best time because of the short time. Yeah, okay.
Kudos to Westerhoff himself. I think immediately he lost to Cameroon, he knew exactly um, what he wanted. He knew that these guys sometimes need experience, and he knew that Nigeria have too much coach. He said that when somebody got injured against Cameroon, 5 people will go on the pitch to go and it's too much stars. But no, thank you, Chrissy, because you're already out of time. You just came to contribute. You didn't ask you about question, but that is fine. So I think because of time, I don't want to spend more than 2 hours here. Actually, I've been here. I don't want to keep Gaba for so long. So, Mr. Patrick, we're gonna actually have you another time, maybe probably on Friday. Just tell us. We don't know your handle on Facebook or Instagram. Tell us when you have time. We can bring you up earlier, not when you don't.
No, I was listening to K Baba. There's a program K Baba used to do with one guy, but they don't do it again. I don't know. They used to focus more on Ghana football. But these days, I don't see him again in the program.
He has been with us for a long time.
Yes, I used to watch the program. You even follow most of this league, Ghana League, and
yeah. You're very correct.
The first thing I asked Kibaba, the first thing I remember that was, Kibaba, are you from Ghana? You remember?
Yeah, you asked that question whether I was Ghanaian. No, I'm not. It's just like the same way I told you that if I was going to choose another state apart from the state I am from, I would have chosen Akwa Ibom. The same way if I should choose another country, naturally it will be Ghana.
Ghana.
Yeah,
Ghana. I have my friend here. He's a sports radio analyst. Don't be happy. Because he's from Ghana. Anytime you talk about Ghana now, he's just here quiet. So thank you, Mr. Kingsley, for your time. Thank you. So, sorry, Prof. Data. If you can spend 30 seconds, just talk to him. 30 seconds, please, because I don't want to. I'm ready to overshoot my time, please. 30 seconds, just ask me a question. Prof. Data.
You're hearing me?
I can hear you now. Quickly.
Okay. My dear, thank you for letting me. The person you brought in, Kayode, I learned a lot from him. I have to tell
thank
you.
you very much.
Myself, I'm learning.
I learned a lot. But there's one thing I have to say. You see, the repair of the Super Eagles this time around, it needs, what I call it, they have to sit down and analyze a lot of things, because I found out what harmed the Super Eagles this time is is beyond their talent.
Mm-hmm.
The penalty shootout, errors made. Some players were meant to start that penalty shootout. It didn't happen. But the core is from the NFA.
Yes.
Those people have to. I call them. I said it before on one of your shows on Eagle Tracker. They're qualified quacks. That is the word I use.
You see,
they just have to get rid of. No, that's
see, I understand that. This is the same thing I said last time. You guys are not qualified. Thank you. I've already actually explain all these things to us. That recruitment. Guys, if you're just joining now, you can still rewind back and listen. Yes, explain those parts. That recruitment of leaders in Nigeria is even. I don't want to talk about politics. We have to know exactly where we get our leaders from too, so that at the end of the day, we know that you're leading us actually well. So it's actually very important. But Mr. Prof, because of time, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem. I appreciate it.
So, Kibaba, I really actually appreciate you. People learned. See, this is not gang class of school of this is a proper school of football that and I might say that if you come here and you cannot learn anything, you cannot learn here, because I don't know maybe you have taught before in journalism school, you explain things in details. I understand it's like a story, just like when I'm reading Chief Munalao's book, is like a story.
I hope you have his latest book, Shay.
No, I've not bought that. Is it on Amazon?
It is. See, it is.
Oh, so yes. I think I'm under this one this night, guys.
Yes, order it and buy
this one this night.
It's on Amazon.
Yes, I still have the other one here.
Yes, buy this one. Buy this one too.
Yes, I'm buying this one too. In fact, even if you I'm buying this one. So guys, Please put it up slightly so that people can know exactly. Put it up again.
Okay.
So, guys, go
Also,
and get this. It's on Amazon. Go and get it. See, if you want to learn, if you want to know this thing, if you want to know exactly how Nigerian football actually works, guys, go and get it. Is it available on audiobook or?
no, it's not. But it's on Amazon. You can get it on Amazon, and those who are in Nigeria, they can get it at Roving Heights bookstores.
Okay, bookstores. Oh, okay. So
It's on
thank you.
Amazon for everybody.
Yes, I'm going to maybe I don't know, maybe you probably go send the pictures to me too, but I think I'm gonna get my own.
Oh, I could send you a link to get it.
Yes. So I'm also going to ask you get at least. I'm normally free during December, so I will have enough time to read it from back to back. When I read this thing sometimes, I'm just so happy. So Baba, thank you. We hope to still have you some other time.
Yeah, that time is about time.
We'll dive into
our great time.
Yes, to specific issue, because that 1998, that indiscipline at that time, man, I really want us to look at that situation, because a lot of things happened in Morocco, a lot of things happened in South Africa that there's always presence to it, from the previous Eagles. We need to look at that area too. But Baba, thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having
me. Yes. So that is actually what K Baba, seasoned journalist, Nigerian football encyclopedia, and I don't know how to describe him again. It's always anytime I talk to him like this, I like to learn. Now, when I say that journalist, I want to learn. I want to learn from you. Can I learn from you? That book now, I'm going to get this night again, because that's people I should like that you would learn from. But thank you guys for being there too. This is not our regular program. It used to be Friday nights, but because K Baba got time today, the Friday might be too far. That's the reason why we have to just do a dive into Nigerian football and probably actually the way forward. I hope you guys here, you have learned one or two things today. You guys know by super chat, but that is fine. You have learned one or two things today. So, guys, like the video. About how many people like the video? I didn't even ask people to like the video. Guys, please like the video and share. And I want to say it here again. If you have a proposal, a template that can work for Nigerian football, please come out. Let's discuss it. We now know the channels to actually to take these things through. Sport Grinder, please, if you have templates, anything that can work for Nigerian football, even if it's private investments, anything that can even work for Nigerian football, you have an idea, please bring it out. Let's talk about it. You can even come and discuss it here on this live. Just tell me. We're going to talk about it, because this series we are doing now is about solutions to Nigerian football. Nigerian football must move forward. We just want to work. We don't want to come and complain, say we don't go work up again. We just need to move this team actually work forward. There's a lot of people already, giving me ideas and things like that. I already say, okay, this person can sponsor it. Shout out to Evan D. Fantastic brain, fantastic knowledge. Giving out different ideas about what else again to do to make the Super Eagles actually work, and all of our 8th grade teams more competitive. So, and I've already pushed it to people that can take it up. So please, if you also have any idea that can benefit Nigerian football, let us know. I remember your host, Speak Like I will see you on Friday Night Football Club. So, thank you and God bless you.